good morning, and welcome to Enterprise Morning right here on Enterprise Television. What better way to start your day by staying ahead with all the latest happenings in the country and beyond. You may follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7 and do visit us at www.enterprisetvnews.com. I am Henry.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
All right, so first off, we head into what the newspapers are saying this morning, and right after that also will be our main conversation for today. So the guests we have in our studios, Barrister Vance Ufeli, Barrister at Law and a Public Affairs Analyst, and Dr. Olayinka Oyemile, an educator and also a Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. And welcome.
Thank you.
Nice morning today.
Good morning.
Yes. So quickly, without much ado, let's start off our newspaper headlines today. And the first daily we have is coming from the Vanguard newspaper. Particularly, there's a very interesting story I think it's important that we take here. And it's on the issue happening in the River State. And we have it. The River State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amiwili, has handed a 7-day ultimatum to Governor Siminalayi Fubara to represent the 2024 budget to the House. The faction of the State Assembly, loyal to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Chief Nyesom Wike, took the stand at its resumed sitting in a yet-to-be-disclosed location in Port Harcourt on a Monday. Barrister, let's take a look at this particular issue. At this point, Nigerians are becoming very confused. What is happening in River State? Pro and for, it's neither here nor there. In this particular case, we'll love your analysis.
Well, what has happened now is that the Martin and more or less fashion of the River State House of Assembly, they have resumed sitting, which is a fallout of what they think the court has given them authority to do. The court hadn't given them such authority. The Court of Appeal ruled that the court below, that's the Court of First Instance, that said they should not parade themselves as lawmakers. The Court of Appeal therefore ruled that that ruling by the River State House of Assembly, that ruling by the River State High Court, that the State High Court has no jurisdiction whatsoever to have, made that. What it means in law is that ruling never existed. So that is what it means. Now, these lawmakers have now assumed that to mean that the crises they have against them have now been resolved. And they are now going there to... What you now have yesterday in River State, we had parallel sitting. There are two houses of assembly now. Now, the Ucho Jumbo's fashion and the Martin Amaole's fashion, and they both sat yesterday. And the Amaole fashion are now giving... ultimatum to the governor to represent the budget, okay, which is a call to anarchy, complete call to anarchy, because the truth is that when they defected, the Martin Amol and his 27 or 24 others, when they defected, their seat became vacant by virtue of the constitution. Edison Ehe, who happened to be a factional speaker at that time, declared their seat vacant. But before they put a call across INEC to come conduct election to fill in those spaces, a case was filed against INEC to restrain INEC from carrying out its function. Now that's still lingering. So they stall the process by that action. Okay. Now they went through all the legal battles from different courts with diverse judgments and all that. The court that really made them, the court judgment that rattled them really, among all this, was the River State High Court that said that they should not parade themselves any longer as lawmakers. You understand? And they took on that to the Court of Appeal to litigate against jurisdiction. The Court of Appeal ruled in their favor that the High Court does not have jurisdiction. Now, it ruled in their favor because it said the High Court did not have jurisdiction. The court didn't say that their seats have been declared vacant or not. You understand? So, what they have now done, because the court has, okay, that judgment came from the wrong court, they now feel like they have been exonerated. And they have now resumed sitting. And all what they are doing is illegality. It's illegality because the Court of Appeal, okay, the Martins and Lawley fashion went to the Supreme Court. And having gone to Supreme Court, there's usually, if you're appealing, there's usually a stay of execution. Parties are supposed to maintain the status quo ante bellum once there's an appeal. You understand? In this case, it's even worse because the Court of Appeal didn't even say they should go and resume. The Court of Appeal did not even address their status. The Court of Appeal didn't address them squarely. It just said that the Rivers State High Court didn't have jurisdiction. And that's all. So for them to now resume office, and then they are now threatening the governor, threatening the state, asking to go and represent budget and the rest of that, for me, it's a call to anarchy. And I think these lawmakers should be shown the way out of the assembly.
Now, the River State House of Assembly does not have the jurisdiction to hold any meeting whatsoever. But constitutionally, a 4-member House of Assembly isn't equally constitutional. Because the question now is, do you think the 2024 budget as passed by the remaining 4 lawmakers, is it constitutional? Doctor?
Well, whether it is constitutional or not will be an argument that perhaps nobody is going to win. Because if you look at it from the pro-Wike lawmakers, they will tell you it is unconstitutional. The other pro-governor Fubara's lawmaker too will say it is constitutional. Because the law says the House must form a quorum. As far as the lawmakers are concerned, those who are pro-Fubara, they are 4. And 4 of them are meeting. So it's a quorum. The other hand too will say, no, they are 30 whatever, and the 4 people cannot make a law for the state. That is where our constitution is a bit lacking or not well spelled out. What happens if a legislator defects from a party that elects him or her? I think the framers of our constitution will need to go back to the drawing board, or if it is there and people are taking opportunity of it, then we must spell it out clearly so that, I mean, you cannot be voted in by a particular party and you are going to defect without consulting your constituency. Let your constituency agree that, okay, those people are no longer serving, the party is no longer serving our purpose, you can defect. But you have to leave that seat. Then you conduct another election. Because with what we are doing now, all is going to be a recipe for chaos. Because whatever, when the court gives a judgment, this one says this is what he's saying, that one says what he's saying. So it is only perhaps now the Supreme Court that can give a verdict that all will obey. But even at that, whatever way it goes, there will be issue of whether they are favoring one party or the other. You all know it might be a bit far-fetched, but you know that recently, or maybe soon, the Chief Justice of the Federation is going to swear in some judges. And among the judges are the Chief Justice's daughter.
Yes.
There's also Wike's sister-in-law or something. So, I mean, whether it is relevant or not, these are issues that we need to begin to think about. That why is it that every decision politicians take, or every decision we take, there will always give room for suspicion. It doesn't.
Okay, thank you.
It worries me a lot.
Thank you, Lainka. Now, over to you, Barrister Evans. A court has restrained the pro-Wike lawmakers from impeaching Governor Fubara. Does the governor have something to fear with this?
Now the court has done what?
The court has restrained the pro-Wike lawmakers from impeaching Governor Fubara.
Yes.
Now, does this give, or does the governor have something to fear?
No, there's nothing to fear. What is there to fear? I mean, the problem we have is that the pro-Wike lawmakers, they are relying on someone who is no longer in the government of Rivers State to dictate the pace of their own action. It is so unfortunate that the people of Rivers State, I wonder how they feel now. We all came together in 2023, donated our allegiance to our sons and daughters just so they can start wrestling, and then we'll be watching them for 1.5 years, for one year plus. Now nobody can say exactly whether Fubara is working or not. Everything has been engulfed by this crisis. So when will this crisis end? Now you talk about the constitution, the framers of the constitution going back to do work. I think so too, because our constitution, when it said that when you defect from your political party to another political party, your seat will be declared vacant, okay, did not envisage that there may be a situation where you may not be able to declare that seat vacant and complete the process immediately. The constitution envisages it to mean like you defect today, your seat is declared vacant by the state speaker, and the INEC is called upon to conduct an election. That's how the constitution puts it. Now, the constitution does not envisage a situation where someone will quickly run to court to restrain INEC, or where the speaker himself, who is supposed to give vent to that effect, is part of the defectees or defectors. Which one now?
Defectors.
Yes, defectors. You understand? The constitution didn't envisage all that. The constitution just gave steps. You understand? In legislation, in lawmaking, it would have created some flexibility that where it becomes impossible for the speaker to make certain, you now have certain sub-provisions of what should be done. So that is not, because the truth is that there is no foreseeable end in lawmaking. That is spotted out already. We had it in many situations before, when a president travels and he has to drop letter and all the timing and all that. It was as a result of other amendments that you got all that done. So if this war is ever going to end, because the way it's going, it looks like Fubara might just perhaps spend the next 4 years fighting, and when his tenure is over, he'll be asking himself whether he was ever a governor. Yes, because there is nothing to show that why are you governing when there's no peace anywhere? I mean, but the Supreme Court will end this.
All right.
I know the Supreme Court will end this, because when the Supreme Court hands down its judgment as to the fate of the lawmakers and the seeming two assemblies, we will get to the end of this.
All right. As the story develops, we'll definitely feed you and most importantly analyze more on the Rivers State issue. But let's move on to our next daily. It's coming from the Daily Independent newspaper. And the big story here says the federal government rolls out measure to crash high food prices. And the rider there says suspend taxes on importation of food commodities, and the sub-rider to import 250,000 metric tons of wheat, 250,000 metric tons of maize.
And still on the Daily Independent newspaper, on the top strip you find APC has done well. Current situation is global. That is coming from the party's governors.
Governors, yes, exactly. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, no tenure elongation for Rivers local government chairman, appeal court rules.
And still on the Daily Independent newspaper, residents groan as fuel scarcity persists in Abuja, Lagos.
And also on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, Corder Jones El-Rufai sued against Kaduna Assembly till July the 17th.
And lastly, on the bottom strip, 2 dead, 18 rescued in Jigawa boat mishap.
Dr. Olainka, federal government rolls out measure to crash high food prices. Is it time to give the president a resounding round of applause?
you don't give a round of applause only on pronouncement. It is when you see the effect of the pronouncement that you give a round of applause. However, I think what the president has done, well, maybe is a good step, but the issue that we have been discussing all this while, is it non-availability of this foodstuff or the price? Because you might argue economically, when a lot of money is chasing a few goods, prices will go up. But when you have it in abundance, prices will come down. That is supposed to be the case. But in Nigeria, I am not sure it is so much the issue of scarcity of food. It is the price of food that is the problem. So now you say, okay, there will be no more duty for the next 150 days. When they import rice, they import wheat and all that, they won't pay duties. Fine. What happens to the transportation? Well, in the long run, it might affect it somehow, but I just think that all these fire brigade measures that the government is trying to apply is not the real issue. The government must sit down with its economic team, real economic team, not the one that was inaugurated the other day, because as I've always said, I'm not an economist, or at least I'm streetwise. You don't put businessmen, those who have interest in success of their industry,
those importing generators,
exactly, and put them in your economic team.
to come and help you get light.
Where would they do that? I mean, so the real economic team should be people who live with the people, who understand the pain of the people, not the industrial barons who are fighting for the survival of their own industry. They will tell you to crash, to give them concession and all that, but they will not crash their own price. Well, back to what we are talking about. I think cutting down or saying that you will not charge duties for importation of foodstuff in the short term, well, maybe may have some effect, but the real effect that we need is that production line. People cannot go to farm. People are afraid to go to farm because of insecurity. And these are issues that we must face.
Some of them are paying now.
Yes.
4 million.
They pay to bandits to go to their farm. Before you plant, you pay. By the time you want to go and harvest, you pay. So, will these people not put that money on their food price?
Running cost.
In the long run, we are creating markets for Thailand and the rest of them who are big rice producers. We are killing our own market here. So, the way I think what the government, the road I think the government should take is to look at what is the problem. Where do we have the problem? Is it a problem of supply? Is it a problem of after production? How do we take it to the market? These are issues they should look at. It's not to just give concessions and say they should bring rice from everywhere. So those ones now, rice that they have not been able to sell in the last 5-10 years, they will bring it out and come and sell it to us. Okay,
thank you. I believe Barrister Philly, you think otherwise or you support Mr. Lainka here?
No, it's not this particular angle to the discourse hasn't got to do with support or belief. It's about reality. What am I believing in the Nigerian state? I mean, the state of things like this, we are really, really drawn backward, okay? I think the problem, as he has analyzed it, and he ended with a question, and the question is whether, is it logistic issues? Is it an issue of price? Is it an issue of after after produce, post-production issue. What exactly is the issue? I think I know what the issue is. The issue is logistics. Remember, these same farmers are the farmers that we had before subsidy was removed. And the cost of goods were not this high.
Exactly.
So if they are the same farmers, what has changed is the cost of diesel to move tomatoes, pepper, and all that from the north to this place, or to move produce from the south to the other side. Whichever way you look at it, is the cost of logistics. It's post-harvest cost. And because subsidy was removed and things have gone up, the cost of fertilizer too has gone up. Okay, the fertilizer, they said they used to sell 43,000. They said they sell about 80-something thousand now per bag. Okay, so if I was using 43,000 naira to produce tomatoes before, and now I have to use 80 to produce the same quantity or less quantity, why should I sell it for? Now, it tells you why they are now counting this pepper in numbers to sell. The garden egg we used to buy, because I like to be very practical. Before, they will ration it, they will gather it.
Yes.
Now they are counting it. I don't know if you are aware. They'll count it here. They are counting it now. So it tells you that the state of things are really going bad. I was informed that in somewhere that they are now slicing yams to sell, okay, and all that. So we are really we are not in a good place to start with. And then the federal government, instead of it to look inward for intervention, you are not saying you want to open everywhere so that those coming will not pay duty. Now, the truth is that the money you are saying they should not pay duty. What the place you have put the economy now, when those things come, even without duty, what they ought to have paid for duty, transportation will take it. You cannot sell those things at the wharf. You're not going to sell it at the wharf. So even if you do not pay duty, apart from the money you use to import, you are still going to pay heavy cost, more than what you would have ordinarily paid on duty to move it from that port to every other part of the country. So you are not paying duty, it makes no difference.
It's actually very amusing, that the technocrats we have and seeing some of these things that we will talk about.
No, they will not see it now, because look at the people they assemble now to go and look at the economy. These are people that have generator plants. They produce generator in China. Most of these people, they have the plant, they import too. So these are the people who put together to give you power supply and all that. So this, we are not. See, we are not. No, you know the problem we have. Nobody is thinking about this country. I'm telling you, nobody is thinking about the soul of Nigeria. Nobody is, both the leaders and the led. Nobody is thinking about the future of this country. Example of the leaders that look at the way they are administering the country. That's from the leaders now. If you are thinking about patriotism, you cannot administer a country this way. Conversely, come to the citizens. If you are thinking about prosperity, you are thinking about patriotism, you will not be defecating on the expressway.
No.
So both the led and the leaders, no one is thinking about Nigeria. That is the bigger problem. It's not even about subsidy or no subsidy, but that where we are going to, our children, the future, nobody is thinking about it. That is why you see a pool of insurgents all over the place. Those insurgents, those ones carrying guns and all that, don't they have children? Many of them have children. I mean, they are the ones who married off the girls, the Chibok girls and the other one. There are two major attacks. They are the ones who married them off. Those insurgents, they have children. So does it mean they don't think about the future of their children? Yes, they don't. They're not thinking about anything. They're thinking only about destruction, which will also engulf them or their children. They don't care.
Very true.
So we have to think about this country. That's
all right.
important.
We can go on and on and on, but of course we just have to, make a wrap for this particular segment and to say thank you to Barrister Vance Ofeli for being part of our show, Doctor. Thank you so very much always for giving us your time when we do need it. Yes. So
we have to call it a wrap at this point.
Yes.
And when we return, fake news back again in Lagos and Abuja. Stay with us.